Obviously, I thought it was a hard-fought game. It's a conference play can be like that sometimes. I didn't, and I'm sure Cindy felt the same way. I didn't think it was necessarily a real clean game. It certainly wasn't from our perspective. I didn't think we played great. Give Kent a lot of credit for that. I thought, especially early on, they were super physical, played with a lot of force early. I thought they set the tone for the game and got after us pretty good, and we fell behind there early. I thought we were really soft early and didn't respond well to some of the, haymakers, figuratively speaking, obviously, that they were throwing. And finally, about 10 minutes in, I thought we responded a little bit better. I thought our execution throughout was not very good. I thought that Freeman and Dawson played critical minutes for us and really did a nice job being NBA All-Stars in their role. We talk about that a lot with our guys, to know your role, embrace your role, and fulfill it. And I thought that Freeman and Dawson, Marshall as well, Marshall goes from a DMP last game to really contributing, I thought, in the game today. And then obviously Jackson, I've been saying all along, I think he's one of the best players in the country. And certainly today he played like it.
John, in your own words, for your team to not play great, or at least start this one great, to be down 16, to come back, to get this win in a rivalry game, I guess just at this point in the season, what does it say about the identity of you guys?
Well, obviously, we talk about we want to be tough physically and mentally, and we want to stay together regardless of circumstance. I did not think we were that way, Ashley, early in the game. We had a couple guys that things didn't go their way, whether it's a missed shot or a call or, maybe a guy gets subbed out when he doesn't want to be subbed out. And I thought we had some guys into their feelings early. And I told them, I said, this isn't about feelings. This is about Akron Zips, the name on the front of the jersey, and we're going to play for each other and play the right way and get over yourselves. I thought they did that the last 30. We were able to capture that a little bit better, but I just thought it was a grinder. Execution-wise, I did not like what I saw, especially in the first half. 9 turnovers, gave up 9 offensive rebounds. I thought they clearly outplayed us for the bulk of the game, but give our guys credit, as you're alluding to, Ashley. I thought we showed great resiliency and great toughness and just kept, getting stops at critical times, and guys made big plays throughout. And actually to build the 10-point lead, which was really a 26-point turnaround with about 4 or 5 minutes to go. Now, we didn't execute a couple things great late and made it interesting. But I liked our resiliency, did not necessarily like our execution.
Did this feel similar to that Malone game? And if yes, is that kind of frustrating that, you're coming off of that great Ohio win? I know the Malone game's only 2 games ago, but if it felt similar, is that frustrating for you as a coach?
No, great question, Ashley. But in the Malone game, I didn't think we had it for almost the full 40. I thought we practiced poorly. I thought our shoot-around wasn't very good leading into the Malone game. I thought we practiced really well all week this week coming back from the holidays. Now, I didn't like our cardio. Now, we had 10 days in between games. I believe Kent had around 18 days. And ironically, I didn't like our cardio early. I thought they were quicker to the ball, tougher, faster. And then all of a sudden we were able to, kind of the last 30 minutes, really grind it and play with some energy and talk and play with some force. And so that was good. I didn't think we did any of those things for the entire game against Malone. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Malone. They executed well, obviously scored 83 points and ran great offensive actions that were difficult for us to defend. But, yeah, I think 2 completely different ones there. Am I a little bit disappointed in our execution? Yes, but I'll have to take some responsibility for that and figure out how I can help the guys a little bit more in terms of executing the details of what we need to get done a little cleaner on defense and offense.
I'm not trying to give you an out, but obviously this game, you only found out about it yesterday. So how much of the execution is things that you have your mind on, that you you want to fix and things you know how you can fix going forward versus you guys just found out you were going to be playing this particular team yesterday?
Probably a little bit of both, but honestly, Ashley, I think a smaller percentage of what you're talking about there, and a significant percentage of just not doing what we're supposed to be doing that we've been working on since October 12th. Now, obviously, we had a couple pauses in there, and need more games under our belt. I believe us and Kent were the two teams in the league coming into today's game that have played the fewest number of games. And obviously, you learn through games. You get experience through games. You learn a lot through games, just like you do practice. But I thought there were enough things that we could control that we just didn't today. Now, obviously, the prep piece, and Kent had the same time frame. I mean, we find out yesterday at 2 or 2:30, and you're right. I mean, at that point, in terms of trying to, scout tendencies, although both staffs and both programs and players know each other pretty well, so we have a pretty good feel for each other. But I didn't expect that to be maybe quite as clean because of the 24-hour or period of time in which we found out we were playing each other. But there were a lot of things that we could get better at that I thought are well within our control.
Hey, Coach. Kyle Kelly here from Cleveland.com. For the majority of that first half and certainly early on in that second half, you guys really played from behind. But once you kind of got over the hump, what was the feeling? I mean, did the tides kind of change? You feel like you had a lot of momentum here to close this game out and eventually rally on to get the win?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. They asked me the same question on the radio, and usually when you come back, you can think of a big momentum play, a big shot, a big stop. And we had several guys make plays throughout. But what I kept watching, and I call it the Sidetron because the Jumbotron's the scoreboard in the middle of the arena. But the Sidetron shows the field goal percentage for both teams. And when we were, down 17-5 or whatever it was, and they were shooting near 60%, I remember looking up there like, whoa, we got. And then as the game wore on, and we got to that 10-point lead, which basically was the 26-point turnaround, I kept seeing that number get lower and lower and lower to the point where Kent State's shooting percentage got in the 30s. So I think the real key for us was our ability to get stops in order to make that type of 26-point turnaround and comeback.
How much of that defensive switch, it looked like you guys were throwing some different zone looks at them maybe, I guess, was that the biggest difference you noticed on that?
Well, it helped us. Obviously, we played it at some timely times, and it did get us some stops and throw them out of rhythm a little bit. But I also thought our man defense got a little bit better also. When we flipped the score 26 points there, obviously you've got to be able to get some stops, and the majority of the time we were in our man-to-man.
And then I'm running out of ways to ask you about Cristian and what he means to this program, but he scores the first 16 points for you guys today. Just what does it say about him that he is able to do something like that when every time you guys play a game, he is the main focus for the other team on defense?
Well, like I told the people on the radio, the thing with him and I've got great confidence in him. And so he gives me, the trust I have in him throughout the course of the game. And I always feel like when he's out there, I feel a lot better. And that's the greatest compliment you can give a player. I feel a lot better when he's out there on the court. I've said all along, people have talked about him being certainly one of the best players in our conference, and I've said all along I think he's one of the best players in the country. And so obviously he played like that today, and I thought he stayed with it. He had some plays here and there that didn't go his way either, but showed some toughness and from a mental standpoint, showed great poise. And when your leader has poise, then everybody else kind of follows. Nobody really panicked. Obviously, we were alarmed a little bit on some mistakes we were making, and we were addressing those throughout the game and halftime. But for the most part, everybody stayed poised. We knew we had the capability to come back if we just stayed with it, and that it was a long game. But, obviously, he made a lot of plays today for himself and for other guys. And like I said, another great performance by him. I'm not surprised.
And then just how has he developed in the years he's been here, his ability to kind of use those ball screens when it comes to seeking out mismatches on the opposing team? Because it seemed like that was something they really struggled with, especially late in the game.
Yeah, obviously we pick and roll a lot for him, but a lot in general. And he has a great feel for different coverages and how certain guys on a other team are playing it. And he and I will talk throughout, whether it's halftime or on the sideline, or he'll come up with an idea. And he had a couple good ones today we went with. So, he's got experience, obviously. So he's seen about in those pick and rolls. I don't really know if there's a coverage he hasn't seen. And so we, make adjustments based on, what he sees and feels out there, and then what I see and feel, and then we talk about it, obviously, and try to figure it out together.
And then, quick one, Greg Tribble being in street clothes again today. I guess what can you say about his status?
Yeah, sprained ankle, was out today, is feeling a lot better. We're hopeful that here over this week that we have, well, I think we have a week in between games. You never know. They may pop another one here on us Tuesday or Wednesday. So we'll have a week, so that'll give Greg an opportunity to hopefully get healthy and be ready to roll next weekend at Eastern.
Coach, I talked to Coach Sinderoff after the game, and I asked him about Kent State losing 3 straight games at the Jar, and he responded to me, well, we've won 3 straight games at the MAC. How important is it for you guys to, obviously it's important to beat, Kent State wherever you go, but how important is it for you to break this 3-game losing streak on the road to Kent State?
Well, anytime you play them, I said this before the game, somebody said, hey, is this going to be more of a low-key game because there's no fans? And we miss our fans. Our guys love playing in front of our fans. And obviously the environment at both places last year was unbelievable, both places. Whenever Akron plays Kent, we could be playing out back on pavement. And both teams are going to compete and be physical, and it's going to be it's going to be one of those types of games. That's why it's a rivalry game. So I think regardless of where we're playing them and when we're playing them, we have great respect for them, and we know we're going to have to bring our hard hat and compete and play well. And it is important. I think you can throw out all the records and all that stuff when you play in these type of games. That is true, but our guys are aware, and they set goals, and they know how important it is to play well at home. And, obviously we'll, Lord willing, get a second opportunity to revisit the rivalry this season over there. And, I'm sure they'll be ready to play and chomping at the bit to play, just like our guys will. And, that's how rivalry games are. That's what makes them fun to play in, and that's what makes them fun to coach in.
I think you tied a career high tonight in threes individually for you. I guess just when did you know you were going to be able to get going behind the arc like that?
I didn't really know anything. I just knew that our team just needed a little bit of spark and a little boost, so I just tried to be more aggressive to score, look for my shot a little bit more.
And it seemed like you were obviously pretty aggressive individually. You scored the first 16 points for you guys. I guess, have you ever had a game like that in your memory before where something like that, none of your teammates scored until I think like the 5-minute mark in the first half?
I have no clue. Probably when I was younger, but I don't know.
Yeah. And, I talked to Coach, and it seemed like Kent State was struggling, especially late, with some of these mismatches you're drawing on pick and rolls. I guess just throughout your career, how have you gotten better as a point guard at reading different things and reading opposing teams' coverages to be able to know when to make the right reads and things?
I've been going against different type of pick and roll coverages ever since I was little. My dad did a pretty good job of watching film and just seeing how we can try to expose certain areas. But as I got older, I've gotten more mature when it comes to certain things, so I've been able to read it and try to take advantage of those situations. But any pick and roll coverage that any team tries to run on me, I've seen before. So it's not really something new. It's just how I adjust to it.
Ultimately, what was the deciding factor in the resurgence you guys had offensively in the second half? Because it was a total explosion and completely just so much better than the first half.
Mike Dawson and Enrique Freeman came in and gave us big-time minutes, played great basketball, gave us that boost that we needed. when guys. So that's our culture. When one player is not playing as well as he could be, or the next player steps up. So that's just our culture, and it just proved this point there.
I know you guys just found out yesterday that your schedule had been switched again, and that you were gonna have to play this rivalry game today. I guess just for you as a player, what was that timeline like, and what was it like having to have this short amount of a time to prep for a game like this?
We played like 2 practices of Central Michigan, just trying to figure out their offense, how we're gonna play them, and then around 3 o'clock yesterday, we found out that things happened, so we ended up playing Kent. So we came back in last night at 7. Guys did a great job of just locking in and focusing on what the coaches had in mind. The coaches did a great job being able to pull up film and have it ready that fast. So it was a total team effort, and I think we did a great job of doing it.
I know obviously you guys had the slower start, but to get the comeback win, I know Coach said things weren't perfect, obviously, but to get a comeback win in a rivalry game like this, I know it's early in the season, but what do you think it says about the identity of who you guys are as a group?
It's our culture. Just being resilient, not giving up, and staying together. Toughness and togetherness is our culture, and that's I think we did a great job of doing that. Just staying together, weathering the storm, and just making one next play at a time.